Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. It is Throwback Thursday. So I am combining retired product with new product, and this is a double dose of both. I am using the dies from the Cup of Tea bundle, and the dies are called teacup dies. So I used the teacup die to cut out a bunch of teacup blanks. But I'm using some of the elements from the Sending Smiles, including the birthday wishes greeting, to decorate the cups. I have used the little leaves here are from the Cup of Tea set as well. So I've kind of gone back and forth with two new sets, and my retired sets are, I've got some So Very Vellum. It was a celebration item, 2 or 3 celebrations ago now, but it's vellum that's got embossed dots on it. So I'm using that, and I am also using one of the embossing folders from the greenery embossing folders that just retired. I love these folders, and they'll be something that I keep in my repertoire for ages. So with this one, as I was building it, I thought that the white was just a little too stark. So I used a blending brush with the Blushing Bride. Now I've got it together. I'm going to try it without doing the blending brushes and just doing the embossing folder to see. But what I did is I took 3 blanks of the teacup, and then I stamped them. And then I stamped the birthday wishes and cut it out with one of the dies from the Sending Smiles set, which is the Sending dies. So it's the shorter of the 2 border ones. The die, or the vellum, I cut out with one of the layering circle dies. So I've got the measurements here. The Balmy Blue card base is 8 3/4 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4 to make the slimline card. The basic white matte is 8.5 by 3.5. So I'll leave those there so that you can refer to them throughout the process. So I've got 2 of these set up already. I need to stamp the 3rd teacup. So I've got one of the flowers, and the flower I'm going to do in the Blushing Bride. Then I've got the leaves that I'm going to do in Pear Pizzazz, and I have got the little dot that I am going to do in Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to tuck these off to the side. I'll move all that in a minute so that you can refer to it if you need to. So I'm just going to ink up the stamp and just put it down in the corner like that. So we've got the flower going, and actually I don't like that one, so I'm going to change it out. I've got a whole bunch of these blanks cut. So I'm just going to stamp that down. There we go, that's better. And they do dry. These are the really juicy ink pads, and they do dry lighter than they stamp. So let's go in with the Pear Pizzazz now and do some leaves on this. So I'm going to pop a set of leaves there, and they don't always have to be in the same direction. I just really liked playing with these ones. So we're now going to, before we close that, we are going to use the dot from the set, and we're just going to pop it in the middle there like that. Now I just need to clean that off so that I can go ahead and do my blue dots. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean. And then I'm going to get my Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to pop some dots onto the teacup. And the other ones have 3, so I'm going to pop a 3rd one down here like this, just so they're kind of even. And then we are done with the stamping. And I can adhere this. I just use Stampin' Seal to adhere this. So I can pop this onto the vellum. And I kind of lined these up so that it's a grid kind of pattern. And so I lined it up with the grids when I did that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the embossing folder. Now, you'll hear me say again and again that when you use the embossing folders, you need to put the hinge end in first. I did not do that on these ones because I needed to emboss across the top. So I made sure that I was not forcing it and just made sure that I held on as tight as I could to the embossing folder between the plates as I put it through, so there wouldn't be that twisting that could potentially break that hinge. So we just have to keep doing that, keep setting it up again and again and again. So there we've got some of the image there. And I'm just going to line this up as best I can. There is still a bit of a hard line, but you really have to look for it to see it. So I'm going to run that through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss again. And then a third time just to finish it off. And then we'll have a look. We'll start putting it together and we will have a look to see if we actually do need that Blushing Bride blending brush on there. So I didn't want to do the whole video, like stamp everything. So I did prep some things, but then this, I thought it would be interesting for you to see. You can see there's a bit of a hard edge there, but it blends, so you don't really see it. And now I've got to put this through one last time. So let's put that through and then we can put our card together. So again, with the Throwback Thursdays, I do like to blend some of the new product with already retired product. So you can see, just because it's retired doesn't mean you don't still have it on your shelf and you don't still love the product and want to keep using it. So finding ways to use it with new product just basically extends the life of your stamps. So let's put this on here. I'm just going to put that off to the side again, lay this down, and now I'm going to put the teacups on. You'll notice there's one that's different in the middle to see the difference. And I can't really decide which I like better. I think I like it with the not so stark, but this time I'm going to try it with the balmy blue instead of the pink. So just bear with me. This is going to be a long video. I apologize. I don't usually do very long videos, but you get to work on the creative process with me, and I want the balmy blue, not the pink. So let's just see what we can do. And this will pick up color differently because it's already embossed. So it will pick up color slightly differently. And, you know, I do have a little bit more ink there than I probably would like, but that's okay. It's kind of the thing with the blending brushes. You just kind of keep working them. And you think there's no color until you put it against something else and you realize just how much color there is. So there we go. Okay, I think that's enough just to kind of get the hints going. And we can take a look and see what it looks like with doing the blending brushes before we emboss and the blending brushes after we emboss. So I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal to this one. And then I can put it on my balmy blue card base. Drop it down like that. And then we can take our teacups and pop them across here. So I want to line them up relatively straight and even. So again, I just do this by eye. I don't necessarily measure it. And we're just going to pop them down so that the teacups look relatively straight. Actually, I'm going to do the outside one first, and then I can place the middle one because I know how far in from the outside edge that one is. so I can kind of balance that. Pop that down and then put the middle one in so they're all even. Just like that. Excellent. And then we used the mini dimensionals. Oh, well, that worked out very well. It was a scrap of paper I used. And you can't cut out much better than that, not knowing it's on the back. So that's excellent. Okay, you've heard me say paper has two sides before, and it absolutely does. And I use both sides, obviously. Okay, so we're just going to pop this across the bottom of this one, like that. Just going to make sure it's even. So there is our finished card. And there's the difference between doing the blending brushes and then the embossing folder, and doing the embossing folder and then the blending brushes. It gives it a bit more depth because the raised piece is a bit darker. So I definitely like the color and the style on this one just a little bit better, but that gives you a couple of options to see how it all looks. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.